Good morning, good evening, good night, everyone, since now it's a global program. Welcome to another episode of PodHeitor, the most fantastic super production on the internet. A big thanks to all our listeners and to our sponsors, Barrios, a true open source fork of Bacula for backing up VMs, database files, and more, and also Omid Cloud, a Brazilian cloud platform with real autonomy, predictable costs, and support that speaks your language. Register now to earn $300 in credits. Marlon, our invitee today is Marlon Crevelaro. Is an international systems engineer and solutions architect with over 15 years of experience in network infrastructure, cloud computing, and cybersecurity. He currently serves as a senior pre-sales engineer at NXLog, leading the design and delivery of SIEM and log management solutions for enterprise and government clients worldwide. Hello, Marlon. How are you? Good evening.
Hi, Tor. Good evening. It's good to be here. I just want to thank you once again for the opportunity, not only me to, talk a little bit more logs and telemetry and everything related to that topic, but also to give the opportunity for the next log to, to spread the word and say more about our solution and how it works.
Welcome to our show, and also many thanks for all the audience to be here and giving us all this customary attention. Marlon, let's begin. Could you tell us about your professional journey and how you reached your current role as a technical leader at NXLog?
Yeah, it's a good start, Hitor. So I started in network infrastructure for the beginning, and that leads me to working in the different companies with different vendors and different solutions as normal. It's happening with everyone in the IT environments. And I have worked with network device, with DPI solutions, also with the security solutions as well. Not only that, but also in my basically on my first position was working in 8FC and working with servers and routers and everything related to the ISP companies. And for the last 3 years, basically, I'm working with an Xlog and discovering everything related to logs, right? So that is normally uh, when we are working in the different solutions, we are not a little bit concerned about how the events are generated, how the events are collected, and every action that needs to be taken when we are collecting events, and yeah, so basically it was like a very good opportunity to work with an Xlog, because at this point I started to realize the how important and how we can as a company help customers, not only by actions but also how to set expectation and how to collect and to manage all the events and everything that's related to that.
Wow, that's wonderful. Marlon, what was the moment or project that most solidified your passion for logs, telemetry, and data security?
Yeah, it's that is a good one, because again, as I told you before, when we were working in IT infrastructure, when we are working with a network device, when we are working with security level, we are not very worried or concerned about everything that is happening in the on the background. So we are not basically even thinking about how things are being collected, how is everything running, because our only concern, it's our only focus is to get this done, make this working, and that's it, right? So if you are a network architect, or if you work with Linux or other operation system, we are just mostly focus on your goal is to make something working, and next one, and that's it. But when we are working with the logs and working with the events, it's good because at this point you just realize that every company use logs, and events
Right.
is important for everyone. So even if you are a small company, even if you are a big company, logs and events as of today, it's important. So we know for sure that basically on the last years, the most important and the most valued is data. So social medias or big players as Meta, as WhatsApp, as Google, the most valuable it's data, it's users' data, it's events, it's logs. So as soon as you understand that and you realize that every and single source, every and single agent or network or anything is generating some events, and that event is important, you just start to think how you can help, or how can you do something with that information, and how can you help customers based on the information that you are collecting, and how can you do that even better when you are helping small, medium, or big customers with all and everything that you are collecting.
That's amazing. That reminds me of that bird, the ostrich, that buries the head in the ground and don't want to see anything from their environment and mask all the problems. Of course, you need to see the logs. That's amazing. That's a, a wonderful insight.
Yeah, and
Marlon,
the company, it's they are always concerned about everything. So we have people working remotely, basically in every country. It's companies are global right now. So all the companies they are also want to see everything that is happening on people's laptop, servers, workstation, everything. So again, logs are generated everywhere for every single application. So it's something that we can do like on a daily basis in a real time, and I believe this is good because we are just basically getting everything for everywhere.
that's amazing. Marlon, what exactly is the NX platform and why has it been gaining so much attention in the operations and security market?
Yeah. So if I can basically explain a little bit about the NXLog history and how it was created, I can even give you the steps and all the phases until we get to an NXLog platform, right? So maybe I will not tell everything, so I will just go direct to the point. But the company started as an open source, right? So we have created the first solution. It was like a community edition that is until today we still have some users using and contributing to the NextLog community edition, right? Uh, at this point, after a few years, we just started the enterprise edition. That was the second phase from the NextLog. So we started to have active customers with support, with bug fixes, with everything on the enterprise edition version. And
Okay.
after a few years already with that solution, we just launched the new solution that is called the NextLog platform. So if we back and see a little bit the difference between all the versions, let's say, I would say it's more like an improvement or an update for everything. So we started with community edition. It was like a very good solution for local action, right? And then we just started with the enterprise edition, that is the paid version for all the active customers. But we still have the enterprise edition with our old solution that is called an NXLog manager. That is the way that we are managing the configuration templates and how we are pushing that configuration to the agent. So we are able to manage in a way the agents from the NextLog manager with the enterprise edition, everything for the paid version. And then we got into the point for NXLog platform. So NXLog platform, it's not only a log management as we had before, but we also have now log management. And the difference, and the big difference, let's say, when I say just log collection to the log management, is I'm able also to store data into our solution. So I am not only collecting the events and sending to the final destination, but I am also able to collect those events, keep sending to the CN from the customers, but I can also store those events into my solution and show those logs to the customer. So that is the next generation, let's say, from our old version to the NXLog platform.
Okay, amazing. And Marlon, is NXLogs an on-premises or a SaaS solution? Can you show us a little bit of the interface?
Yeah, I can show you, and we can play a little bit with that. But just talking about the version we have for the platform itself, right? For the solution, for the NXLog platform solution, we have two solutions working in parallel. One is the NXLog platform agent, and another one is the NXLog platform UI, the console where we are managing the agents, right? So we have the NXLog platform running in an on-prem, okay? As of now, as of the version that we just released, we just released that version basically 2 weeks ago. That version, it is still 100% on-premise. Okay. As of now, we have plans to have the NXLog platform in two different ways. Let's say one is offering as a SaaS solution in our cloud. So we're just offering this as a SaaS for customers. And the other one is offering an NXLog platform as an air gap solution for those customers that has problems or their network is totally like disconnected from the internet for any outside connectivity. So for those ones, we will also be able to support them on this NXLog platform air gap solution. But let me share with you something here that we can just start to play with the solution and see how it works.
Okay, amazing.
Please just let me know as soon as you can see it, Thor.
Yes, everyone can see it.
Okay, perfect. So how it works, as I told you before, we will have two solutions working in parallel, right? So one, it's an NXLog platform UI, the console, when we are just seeing everything related to the agents. And another one is the agent itself, that is the one collecting the events. Doesn't matter exactly what type of events we are collecting. I will just go one by one just to show you exactly everything that we can have on the platform. And one point, Heitor, before I even show more about how an NXLog platform works, right? I believe that it's important to specify and to say that to everyone that our solution, an NXLog platform, it's a totally agnostic solution. So what that means in a real world, our solution, and that is one of the big difference and one of the important points from our side, is we definitely can collect any kind of event for any kind of device, and we can integrate, we can send those events to every and a single destination. That can be the most popular CNs as like a Microsoft Sentinel, Splunk, or Google, or even Amazon, right? But you can decide if you want to send those events also through some API, if you want to send those logs through TCP, to HTTP, using UDP, if you want to save those events to a file. So it's really up to you. We are 100% flexible for everything that you want to do with the events. So that I think that is a really good part from our solution if we compare with others, because we are totally agnostic. We can collect events for everywhere and send logs to everywhere. So I believe that is one of the biggest advantage for an NXLog platform. But yeah, so let's see. Let me just do an overview and how this work and how can we help customers using our solution. So I already told you that we can collect everything and we can send those events for everywhere and every destination that you have. So let's get as a use case, a customer. It can be like a chain of restaurants, okay, in Europe, and they will have a lot of stores where they need to collect events for every place and then send to like a aggregator or a collector and then send to their destination. That can be Microsoft Sentinel, right? So we can use our solution to collect all those events. That can be Windows events, it can be logs from a file, it can be logs for a network device, it can be everything that we can collect and then we can send to the destination. And how can we do that, right? So if we are talking about the configuration from our solution, from the NXLog platform, we will create everything here on that side, and then we will just push that configuration to the agents. So if we are talking about some configuration and how we can collect those events, we can simply, for example, collect events for a file, right? I can simply do a drag and drop, and I can specify the file that I want to collect the event. So let's say that can be like a DNS logs, right? So I can simply do something like this. So I will collect logs for C, program files, DNS, and everything related to DNS, right? So that is my first input. So basically what I'm doing here, I'm collecting events for a file. What I can also do is also collecting logs for Windows. If I type Windows here on my platform, I will have some options. And this one is related to the version of the Windows I have. So when I do this, as I know already, I'm collecting all types of events for Windows as application, security, system. So I have a second input. And just to complete, let's say I will also want to collect logs for syslog, right? I will have some network device that is generating their events, and they are sending to my agent through a syslog TCP. So I can use that model to receive those events. It will parse to syslog, and then I will send to my destination. And how can I define my destination? So we know that most companies, they have already their CN working, right? So they will know exactly what is the destination that those logs needs to be sent. So if I type something like, let's use the example as a Sentinel, Microsoft Sentinel, I can simply drag and drop. And at this point, what I am doing is I'm collecting all those three inputs, all those events, and I am sending to my destination. So simply, with just couple of clicks, I can just select, create my template, and then I can just push that template to my agents.
I love it how easy it is, because I'm old. Now I did a lot of terminal, of shell scripts, but I love it how it's easy to drag and drop the integrations. I really like this GUI.
Yeah, and everything is possible. Is not just because I'm using drag and drop that I can do more. So, for example, if the customer, and I believe that is very important to mention, because we have a lot of customers that they don't know about that, and that is one of the big advantage for using NXLog. When you are sending logs to some CNs, basically they are charging you for how many events they are receiving. So how many events you are sending to them, how many events they need to treat, they need to receive, and they need to take action, right? But you may know that mostly are at least 0.5% of your events are just info, warning, or even it is just something that doesn't make too much sense to keep tracking those events, right? So that is one of the big points from the NXLog solution, that we can help customers to reduce at least, or even more, 50% of the cost that they have for the CNs. And how can we do that? We can filter the events. We can send only what is the most important for them, right? So let's use this example for Microsoft Sentinel. So if I create something related to drops, I can simply go here on my destination, and what I will do is I can create some if and else, right? And if the severity for those events is equal to something or less than something, in that example as 3, or I can put something like if it's equal to, I don't know, info, I will drop the events, right? So you can have an idea how many I will save, not only to generate events but send to the destination, but also as a cost reduction, right? And it's good because, let's say, if you have some kind of compliance that you need to have those logs for a period of time, everything, you can even use a different destination. So let's say I want to send, as I told you at the beginning, our solution at this point, we are also in a log management. So I can even store data into our solution because it is on-prem, right? I can basically store data into our platform. So I can simply do this. And at this point, Heitor, I can simply just filter events to Sentinel, but I will keep those events for a year into the platform for my compliance and audit. Okay, so with just a couple of clicks, you can simply do that. Or in case you want to do in a terminal way, you will also able to do so. So let's say I don't want to do that using drag and drops. You will have on a text mode that's basically doing exactly the same level. And the good part here is our like text mode, it will work similar with the visual code, like that application. So we have autocomplete. So basically, if I can type something like this, extension, it will give me some options, right? For example, if I want to have a new input, so I put input, and then let's put like a name, and then it will give me the possibility to autocomplete, and I will have all the options related to all the inputs that I have. And one thing that I think it's important just to complete that part related to how this will work. In the NXLog platform, we are helping customers to not make mistakes on the configuration. And how can this work? So, for example, for this IAM file, I want to convert those events to JSON. Okay, I know how to do that. I know that if I do something like this, exec to JSON, I know that this will work. But for some reason, I have warning. So our solution is saying that to converting those events to JSON, I need to first add the extension to JSON. So I can simply click on insert and it will add, and that warning, it will be missed. So again, our idea is not only bring value to customers related to how we are collecting events and how we are managing the events and storing the events, but also try to help customer to not make any mistake on the configuration, how to help them to make that even more easy.
Yeah, there are some operating systems such as Microsoft Windows that generate too much unnecessary logging, and events, and I think this is great. Data in general, we have too much data in the data centers worldwide, and I think that this feature is amazing.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
Marlon, in NXLog's agent architecture, how does the input processing output flow work, and how do extensible models fit into that pipeline?
Okay. So if we back here on the configuration, so it's by default we have Heitor as a we have three blocks, okay, as pillar for the configuration. One is the input, so what you want to set, what you want to collect. So we want to collect the logs for Windows, you want to collect logs for a file, you want to collect logs for Kafka, for Amazon. So that is your input. So what you really want to do the collection. The second step is the destination. So I have the first one that is input, and I have the second one, it's my output. Okay, so that is my source and my destination. I have to know what I want to do the collection, and I really need to know what is my destination and how can I send those logs. And the third part is the route. So the route is it's like a glue for the input to the output. So basically, if we use as example, so I will collect logs for Amazon S3, and I will send those events to Prometheus. Okay. So let's say that at this point, I have my first input, I have my output, and I have the route. You can't see that, but not that you can see, but you see that there is this blue line here, but it is not, it is invisible or transparent for the route perspective. But if we saw on the configuration, I can see my input, I can see my output, and I can see my route. So this is how it works. So I need at least those three parts for a log collection to work. And how the extension will be added here. The extension part for an NXLog is basically providing more capabilities for the events. And what that means, more capabilities, it's if that example that I just used before, if I want to convert those logs to JSON, or for another one, for example, to CSV, I can simply do that. And if I enable that part, I will see extension as CSV. So that is what means extension. So when I say extension is options that I am providing to my agent to do more with the log that I'm collecting. That extension can be a conversion, it can be filter, it can be enrichment, it can be trimming, it can be whatever you want to do in a different way, or even to do more with the logs that you are collecting or on the destination side.
Yeah, I think this is brings a lot of flexibility, right? From anywhere you want to store the logs information, and also for security, right? Because if a hacker or some malintentioned person or employee deletes the log in the source, right? You can always have that replica stored somewhere. So I think this is great for auditing and security issues, right?
Yeah, you are totally right. So for us, for NXLog, that is a very important part. And with that, we also have the integrity model. So we can enable this here, and we can start collecting integrity events. So for example, I can, let's say that I'm collecting that is being running into a Linux server. I can simply set for slash for root, basically. I'm checking for everything, for every delete, new, change, everything related to files. I am checking for the integrity at that specific folder. I can show you even because I have this already on our lab. It's running for some Windows servers. So if I go to the log search, and on log search, Heitor, that is basically everything that I'm collecting. So all the logs that I'm collecting and storing to the platform will be available here on the log search. That is the database inside of the platform. So for example, I can see different type of events like network events, and that one it's like OS query. So I'm collecting different type of events like network connectivity for my server. But if I want to see specifically for the integrity, I have created today search. So if I go here and click on this integrity, as you can see, it is running on some of my Windows device. And if I open one of those logs, you can see that file, okay, in this specific point on my Windows was deleted. That's the timestamp. It was a warning. Okay, I can even show more. I can play with the logs if needed. But with the integrity model, you can check everything, and you can check all the servers you have. Doesn't matter if you are Mac, if it is Linux, if it is Windows. You can check for integrity for everything that's being generated on that source. So it's a delete. We will probably get even more information as a new. As you can see, that file, it was created at that server as a new file. That is the timestamp. Okay. So again, we are basically monitoring everything related to the agents on the platform side. And when you are talking about audit, right? I can use exactly the same example that I used before. So you will have your destination, and that destination can be your Sentinel, right? It can be your SIEM. In that case, let's use that example. But I can also have, let me just add one input here. You
Nice.
can also store those events that you're collecting into a file. So we have that model that is called IAM file. So what I will do here is I will basically save that, and that can be a shared location. So let's say that it's under E, like logs, shared, and DNS, for example. Okay. And it will be something around timestamp.log. It's just an example. So in this case, what I have is I'm collecting Windows event logs. I'm sending those logs to Sentinel. I can filter events as I showed you before. And I will save this into a file, and I will just keep saving those events as soon as I'm receiving. Okay. You can also activate a log rotate and enable a log rotate to that file. So after 5 years, I will be starting rotating those events, or even less. That is something that you can do, because one thing that I think I don't know if I have mentioned, but on our configuration, we also support regular expression. So as you can see, in some situations, you will see some regular expression for inside of the configuration. So the customers can play with everything that they need. So they can change the values from the fields. They can add values to the fields. So all of that using regular expression. So you can create that log rotate even to IAM file, and you can even keep compliance with integrity input model, and you can also save those events into a file for the period that you need.
Oh, that's amazing. Also for general data protection laws, because that's where you can't hold data and withhold data for more time that needed, right? So that retention feature of deleting old information, it's great by all means.
Yeah, yeah.
So Marlon, how does NXLog handle high log volumes? Does it have scalability, concurrency, parallelism features?
Yeah, so what happens in our side, Heitor, is for every input model, we are creating a thread, right? So that will work in parallel for everything that I have. And the good part for NXLog, that just for you to have an idea, for a single instance, for a single agent, let's say, for a single application running on the operation system, we can support until 100,000 events per second. So that's a huge number. And from the performance point of view, it's what we need. It's as not minimal, but recommended is 2 virtual CPUs with 250 megabytes megabytes, and 150 megabytes for disk. So it's basically nothing, and still we can support 100,000 events per second per a single instance. And how this will work? So let's say that you have like a big environment, and you have a lot of network devices sending in parallel events for that agent it's working as a relay, right? In case you want as to, let's say, create some kind of load balancer, because you will create more threads on the NXLog side, you can, let's say that you are receiving logs for syslog, for TCP. You can just simply create different type of inputs, okay? And there is like a configuration here that you can reuse the same port. So what I will do is have different inputs with different threads using exactly the same port to receive those events using syslog TCP. So even if that is the case, I can even create some kind of load balancing inside of the agent.
Nice. That's amazing. Yeah. Marlon, what kinds of buffering, ordering, and processing priority configurations are possible with the NXLog agent?
Okay, that is a really good question, Heitor, because we are always getting that concern from the on the customer side. So we have let's say 3 directives or 3 features that is working all together to help or to avoid problems. We can use both sentence. So we have the buffer. That is the first one. So buffer means that our agent, it will buffer some of the events before sent to the destination in case I have found a problem with the destination. That buffer, Heitor, can be on memory, that is by default, or in case we have like a specific use case where we need to store or to buffer for a long period, we can also do that on disk. So I will buffer those events on the disk, and as soon as my destination is up to receive those events, I will send it right away. The second part is the flow control. So what flow control means? It means that my input for few type of inputs. My input will first understand and check if my destination is able to receive events before I collect those events. So if we are collecting events for Windows, Windows event logs from a file, or for Amazon S3 buckets, or for Azure Blob, I need to first check if my destination is able to receive those events before I collect. And the reason is, before I collect those events, normally those events are not there anymore in some situations. So I need to be sure that my destination is up to receive logs. So there is this health check between the input and the output before I collect those events and send to the destination. And we also have the log queue. So the log queue, it's how many events I'm collecting, okay, how many events I'm putting on the queue to be able to send to the destination. So again, we have those three features working in parallel, all together on the input and output models, to avoid lose data, or even to help customer to not basically discard or drop anything.
Yeah, that's amazing. Marlon, in large and distributed environments, how do you manage the NXLog agent fleet deployment? Do you have auto-enrollment, automatic updates?
Yeah, so yes, we have auto-enrollment. So what that means, from the agent perspective, we have like an auto-enroll rule. So what that means, so for every new agent that is being connected to the platform, I can define a role and a template that it will be pushed to that agent. So let's say you deploy 1,000 agents. So as soon as you deploy that 1,000 agents and set them, at least at the beginning, that they need to talk with the platform, as soon as those 1,000 agents connect to the platform, I can set some rules here, as it's called as an auto-enroll, that will say, okay, so based on some situation or some parameters, I will deploy that agent and I will assign that configuration to those agents. So for example, I can set some rules here saying, if the operation system is Windows, so I know if those agents are Windows, what I will do is I will select, for example, that template, Windows logs to platform. Okay, I will put a name, Windows events to platform. So when I do that and I save that, what I'm saying is, for every new agent, okay, so this is important. So if the enrollment is false, so that means it's a new agent. So if a new agent is connecting to the platform, I will enroll that agent. That means I will copy a CA and a cert and a key file from the platform to the agent. So in that way, I will have a security and a proper communication between them. I will also assign a template for that agent. So that means as soon as I set the template and set the auto-enroll, new agents will come into the platform, and the platform, you will just assign already the template. So as soon as I sign the template, my log collection will start to work in an automatic way.
Yeah, that reduces a lot of the human work, the deployment needed work hours, right? For
Exactly.
a big deployment.
Indeed. Indeed. Yeah.
Marlon, what external integrations does NXLog offer with SIEMs, Graylog, Splunk, Microsoft Sentinel, whatever?
Yeah. So it's a very good one as well, and the reason is because, again, as I mentioned before, our solution is agnostic, and that is, I believe, that is the one of the big advantage for NXLog. So as we are agnostic, we can integrate with every solution. We can basically collect any event and we can integrate with every solution. So For some players, for some applications, we have this already as a standard configuration. So if we let's say, let's get logs for Windows. So that is my input. And then let's pass some outputs. So if I want to collect, if I want to send to Google, right, I will have this by default, okay? Of course, for every type of integration, I will need to provide some information as key, server, IP, URL, or some information. That is something that expected that customer will provide. So, for example, Google, Sentinel. Let's get another one as Elastic. One more like Amazon. So, okay, so we have at least 4 here. So I know for sure that all those 4 CNs are totally compatible and supported by the platform, right? Now, let's see, you have a different CN. You have a Graylog, so or a Splunk. If we type Graylog, I really don't have like that as a standard, right? But that is not the problem, because if we know how to set that configuration, how to forward those events to the platform, I can do that. And how can I do that? Normally, we as company, we are supporting all the customers on this application and this integration. So if we check directly on our documentation, I can simply type like a Graylog editor, and our team, it's providing everything related to that integration. So I can even we are even providing you like a very some steps regarding how this integration works. We are also helping customers how to set this even on the Graylog side, okay? And I am using Graylog as an example, but you will probably find a lot. As you can see, Rapid7, Snare, SolarWinds, Splunk, LogPoint, KeyRadar. So we are basically offering, helping to, and we are helping customers even to the configuration on the application side. And by the end, we are providing you with the configuration. Of course, as the documentation, it's hard to do that in the drag and drop, but basically it will work on the same way. I can simply go here and copy that that output, enable, and I can simply do that, and then just copy that output and add this to my route. So if I can do this and back, as you can see, I have my new output to Graylog. So again, if we know how to set and how to send those events, it can be HTTP, HTTPS, TCP, or using UDP protocol, we can do that. We just need to set and to work on the format way, right? So, but NXLog can do that. We can help customers if no integration is defined already, even on the documentation. Let's say you have like an in-house CN, we can help customers even on that part to work on some API integration, or even using different formats. That is something that we can offer even on the professional services side.
Yeah, I really love that can edit the configurations via the GUI. I think that's it makes a lot easier and safer also, right, to edit right through that interface.
Exactly. Yes.
Marlon, which model or feature do you think it's underused by users and deserves more attention from them?
Okay. So I would say one that is not so new, and another one that's very new on the new version of the NXLog agent that I believe more customers will start to using it. So the first one is the drop, right? So filter is something that we can see that not a lot of customers is using filters. They are basically just sending everything. And as you may know, for the big players, for the application, for the CN, it's better if they can keep doing that, right? So in every situation that we have the chance to talk with customers, to have some calls, we are trying to to help them to work on that filter. I wouldn't say drop, because drop can be like the word drop can go in a different way, but I would say filter, because you can filter only what you really need at the destination. So we can see that a lot of customers are not using it. And the second one that is new, that is, and this is how company is growing, how NXLog is growing, and how can we, that is, I can't say the future anymore because it's already present on our solution, is the metrics, right? So as of the new version of the platform, is how the customers can also get telemetry events, metrics events. So we have now some of new models that we can collect internal metrics or query for the agent itself. And what is that basically? So we can now not only collect logs from a file for Windows, but we can go directly to the operation system. We can collect the logs for rules, registry, network, CPU, memory, tasks, process. So everything that is, that is happening inside of that agent. And when I say agent, I say our Windows or Linux or server, we can we also can collect, because that part, that metrics and telemetry, is what customer is already doing. They start to ask for that for NXLog, and that is part of our solution already. So I believe the metrics part, telemetry, is something, let's say, kind of new, but we are still, still talking with customers to start to use it more often, because it's also very important.
Well, that's great. Great news, because it enables performance management and also some sort of better capacity planning, right?
Yes.
The user can see which resources are more overloaded. Yeah, that's great. Marlon, can you share real world cases, government enterprise, where NXLog made a difference in incident detection or response?
Yeah, so that is really good, because when we started this this podcast, this conversation, I told you that I was working in the past with network companies on the infrastructure, but when we are working with ISPs or those IT projects, you normally are just going to those type of customers, but for NXLog, that is totally different. So we have customers that is, we have R-line companies that is using NXLog. So it's kind of different when we are talking about technology. We have submarines that is using our solution. We have ships that's using our solution to collect the events and set their compliance and audits. We have companies as airports that is also using our solution as by the security. We have stores and big restaurants as a fast food that also using our solution in United States. So it's kind of difficult to say, because we have so many use cases that we can use, as the successfully use case and deals that where we are helping customers. So it's difficult, because it's a lot. We have different type of customers. We have also banks. I can tell you that we have a lot of customers. It's banks because of the compliance audits and everything that we also can help them into that part. But yeah, that is I believe is one of the beauty to to work here in NXLog, because you have the opportunity to work with a lot of companies in totally different levels.
Yeah, I can see in NXLog.com that you have a lot of very big customers, right? Such as JP Morgan, Nike, and many others.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think
exactly.
that's
Yes. Big players for sure.
yeah. Marlon, let's talk now about a hot topic, which is AI, artificial intelligence. Does NXLog have any AI feature already, or is it in the roadmap?
Yeah. And Heitor, we were NXLog was we were participating in some events this year. Some We were in London 2 times, in Dubai on the GSEC, and also we were like 2 weeks ago we were in Germany. And in that point, I can tell you, we saw, right, that a lot of people are using AI, right? We were on those events with Red Hat, Microsoft, Google, and everyone is it's adding AI on in some part of the event. For an Xlog, this is important, and as of now, of the version that we have, we still don't have any kind of integrated AI with the Nextlog platform. That is something that I can tell you that we are working internally to see how can we do that in a security, because that is our concern. How can we do that in a security and a good way? Because we don't want to do that in a way that we are just providing some kind of, let's say, AI just to generate the configuration and that's it, right? I don't think that is the purpose of the AI, for at least for our side. The most important at the beginning is security. We don't want to open anything using AI on our solution to expose customers to any kind of attack. That's the first, because we are part of the security applications. But what I can tell you, yes, that is the idea, to have some AI also integrated with our solution that can help customers to analyze some kind of logs, or even to help them in some kind of configuration for what they need. For example, let's use like a use case. A customer just provides some kind of template. I want to do the log collection for Windows device, and I want to send to Sentinel, and I want to filter the events ID that is for ID 4624. So that is something that we can also help customers on the future. But yeah, that is something that is in our overview, but still we don't have anything, for, let's say, for the next release.
Okay, very good. Marlon, if someone wanted to migrate from another log system such as ELK, Syslog MG, Graylog to NXLog, what are the key migration points to consider?
Yeah, so Heitor, this let's say when we are talking about migrating, normally what is the first step is, let's see the configuration, let's see what we have, and let's see how can we do exactly the same on the next side, right? But it's not always work like that, because for us it's very simple. For NXLog, it's very simple. The question is, what do you want to collect, right? And what's the destination? Do you need to do any kind of parse formatting, anything? Yes, no, because when we are talking about configuration for different vendors, they probably will have more lines of configuration, or they will have a different way to set this. Uh, so for us, it's very simple, as I showed you before on the platform side. So
Right.
if you want to do something, we will migrate exactly the same, right? But by the end of the day, we just need to do the right question, the right what is exactly you want to set, what is the configuration, what's the log collection that you need, and how do you need that. Do you need to filter, do you need to parse, do you need to change anything on the file, or the logs, and what is the destination that you have. So that is very simple for us, because with just simple with few lines, we can just set your configuration, and that will be up and running. So for us, that part, it's totally, simple and easy. We have a lot of situations where we are just migrating for different vendors to an NXLog and using different solution. But for us, that is the question. So what exactly you need to set, what exactly the log collection that you need, and basically we will just go on that part.
Wow, very good. Last week, there was a major AWS outage. It made the news worldwide. How does this instability highlight the importance of operations log monitoring? Do you think maybe a better log management could have avoided that problem?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so, Heitor. And the reason is, um, I don't know exactly what, probably they have something, right? Because we are talking about Amazon. But I'm not sure if they have something to take actions based on what they are collecting, right? So first of all, we need to be sure that we are collecting the what is important, because when we are talking about and that is another topic, when we are talking about filtering events, that is also good, because when you are receiving a lot of traffic and a lot of events, in some point it starts to be tricky, because you are receiving so many events and you are not treating them all. So that is also important to filter the event that you have. So I don't know exactly the actions that they if they have or if they don't have. Probably they are collecting the events, but I'm not sure about the actions that was taken about those. But I'm pretty sure if it was something related to service, they probably could see that coming, if they have like a log collection working properly and taking action based on what they are receiving.
I agree with that. Marlon, it was a pleasure to host you here at our program. The doors are always open every time there is a new version, a new feature of NXLog. But just a last question that then we can close. What's your vision for NXLog's future in the next 3 to 5 years, and how can interested professionals start to contribute to the platform, or maybe resellers can contact NXLog and be partners?
Yeah, so my vision for the company, and I believe that is something that is aligned with everyone on the company side. Um uh, we just launched an XLog platform more than a year ago, and the idea for the company, is to be not an log collection, as I mentioned you before, but also to start to do a log management. And the management is the ability to store data, to show data, to filter that, and show that to customers, to create dashboards, and to show everything related to that. And I believe that is still the vision for the company, to keep being more and more and a log management as it is. Two situations that I believe we are, so basically for every 2 months, Hector, we are getting a new versions of the NXLog platform agents and the NXLog platform UI. And as I told you also before, our idea is to have the platform as SaaS and as an air gap solution as well. So this is something that is it's our roadmap, and it's just to grow and to move to that part of log management, and with all the integrations and all the features that we supposed to deliver to customers. So I believe that is the focus, and that's the goal from the company as a whole company. And related to the partners, we can work. NXLog can work in different levels. We can work through partners. We can also work direct to end customers. That is really something that we will identify as use case by use case, right? So if we have like some opportunities for direct to a partner, we will work directly and always with a partner. If we have opportunities directly with the end customers, we can also do that, right? But in case the end customer needs to do the deals with partners, we can also, as a company, we can also recommend some partners that you have on the region. It can be in Brazil, it can be in Latin America and US and any part of the world. We basically have partners globally speaking. So we can also, we can work in different ways.
Oh, wonderful. So you're very flexible, right? And open for
Exactly, yes.
different business channels of distribution.
Yeah.
Marlon, it was a huge pleasure. Thank you so much for that lesson regarding log collection and centralized log management. Thank you for all the audience and the questions and the participation. See you in the next
Yeah.
program, probably next week. So, any final
Yeah.
words, Marlon?
Yeah, I just want to thank you once again for the opportunity, Heitor, to be here to talk about NXLog, and to show us a little to in this situation. That was a very good conversation. Thank you for the opportunity once again.
Yeah, I know that the next lock will be a huge success in the next years.
Yeah,
Worldwide,
yeah,
everywhere we will have an NXLog doing a huge service to all the data centers.
yeah. That's good. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. See you. Bye bye.
Bye.